A lone fisherman, Matt Boyd, portrayed by Dreyfus, sits on his boat drinking beer and humming a familiar sea shanty. He drops a bottle into the water just as a sudden and powerful tremor shakes the lake bed. The water bubbles violently as a fissure opens beneath the lake, releasing prehistoric piranhas trapped underground for millions of years. A whirlpool forms and Boyd is dragged into the water. As he struggles to get back on his boat, a swarm of the newly released piranhas surround him, and despite his efforts, they pull him under, tearing him apart in a violent frenzy. The next day we are introduced to Jake Forrester, a local teenager living in Lake Victoria. Jake is the son of Sheriff Julie Forrester, played by Elisabeth Shue. Julie is a single mother raising Jake and his younger siblings Laura and Zane. The town is preparing for the annual spring break festivities, with thousands of college students descending upon the small lakeside town for partying and wild entertainment. Julie is busy trying to manage the sudden influx of tourists with her deputy Fallon, played by Ving Rhames. Jake is tasked with babysitting his siblings, but he's far more interested in hanging out with Kelly, a girl he has a crush on, and meeting Derek Jones, an adult film director played by Jerry O'Connell, who is in town filming a spring break video with his two actresses, Danny and Crystal, portrayed by Kelly Brook and Riley Steele. Derek offers Jake a job as a location scout for his shoot, and despite being grounded, Jake agrees. He leaves his siblings behind and heads off with Derek, Danny, Crystal, Kelly, and Derek's cameraman Andrew on a boat to a more secluded part of the lake. Meanwhile, Sheriff Julie and Fallon are called to investigate the sudden disappearance of Matt Boyd. They find his empty boat drifting and signs of a gruesome death. Concerned, they bring in Novak, a seismologist who witnessed the underwater tremor. Alongside diverse Sam and Paula, Novak leads an expedition into the newly formed underwater fissure to explore its depths and determine its cause. While diving, they discover an enormous underwater cavern, filled with strange ancient eggs, but as they swim back they are attacked by a swarm of piranhas. Both Paula and Sam are killed in the water, their bodies quickly shredded. Novak barely escapes and is pulled into the boat by Julie. At the local medical examiner's office, a biologist named Goodman examines the remains of one of the dead piranhas. He explains that the species is supposed to be extinct, having lived during the prehistoric era. Their anatomy is designed purely for feeding and reproduction. They have survived underground for eons by cannibalizing each other, and now having been released they're looking for fresh food, human flesh. Goodman warns that they will swarm together and feed in mass, and if not contained, the situation could escalate rapidly. Back on the lake, Jake and the group aboard Derek's yacht are filming wild footage with the two girls swimming and dancing provocatively. Kelly feels uncomfortable with how sexually aggressive Derek is behaving toward the actresses, and she tries to distance herself from the shoot. As the group continues partying, Jake tries to impress Kelly while dealing with Derek's increasing arrogance and possessiveness over the shoot and his footage. Meanwhile, Zane and Laura, Jake's siblings, have taken a small dinghy to a nearby island to fish. They are stranded there when their boat drifts away. Julie discovers they are missing and tries to contact Jake, who doesn't answer his phone. Julie and Novak set out to find them, just as the main spring break party at the lake hits its peak. Music blares, bodies crowd the beach and the water, and students are dancing, drinking, and swimming in the lake in droves. As the party rages on, the piranhas arrive. At first, individual attacks go unnoticed. Then all at once, a massive swarm hits the shallow waters where hundreds of young people are swimming. Panic erupts as the piranhas begin to rip through flesh, biting off limbs and pulling people under. Blood fills the water. Fallon wades into the lake, firing his shotgun and using the boat's propeller to try to hold the fish back, but the chaos is uncontrollable. Students scramble to get out, boats collide, and the lake becomes a churning mess of screams, blood, and dismemberment. In one particularly gruesome scene, a young woman tries to climb aboard a capsized boat, only to have her hair caught in the propeller, ripping off her scalp. Another student is pulled under by multiple fish and resurfaces with his lower half missing. Fallon fights to protect the crowd, killing as many of the piranhas as he can, but he too is eventually overwhelmed as the fish tear into his legs. Julie and Novak arrive and start rescuing survivors. They use a megaphone to instruct people to get out of the water and try to pull in those closest to the shore. Back on Derek's boat, tensions rise. Suddenly, a swarm of piranhas hit the boat. The glass bottom shatters and Andrew, the cameraman, is attacked while filming underwater. Crystal is pulled into the water, her body torn apart. Danny tries to pull her back up, but it's too late. Derek falls into the water, and though he tries to climb back aboard, the piranhas swarm around his legs and groin. He screams as they bite off his genitalia. Danny helps him back onto the boat, but he bleeds out quickly and dies. The boat begins sinking due to the damage. Julie manages to contact Jake. She learns that the boat is stranded near the rocks. Jake, realizing the boat is going down fast, hatches a plan to rescue everyone. Julie and Novak arrive, and using another boat they create a makeshift pulley system. Jake begins rigging the yacht with propane tanks. He lures the piranhas back to the boat using Derek's severed body as bait. Once Kelly is on the lifeboat with Julie and the kids, Jake sets the timer on the tanks and jumps into the water. Novak hits the gas on the boat and the propane tanks explode, killing many of the piranhas and throwing Jake out of the water. Novak pulls Jake aboard, bloodied but alive. The explosion creates a massive fireball on the lake, and for the moment the immediate threat seems neutralized. Back on land, Goodman contacts Julie via radio and delivers a chilling piece of news. The piranhas they captured and studied were all juveniles. That means the adults, the full-grown versions of these creatures, are still out there. Just as he finishes saying this, one of his team is grabbed by an enormous, unseen creature and pulled off-screen, leaving the fate of the town uncertain.
If you enjoyed this video and want to catch my next movie, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you never miss a moment. Big things are coming, and you won't want to miss what's next. See you in the next one.